and gentlemen, the time has finally come. After over a year of waiting, we finally get to see Ichigo's brand new Bankai, the Tensa Zangetsu. And in the span of 1 page, it breaks. Son of a bitch! So if it wasn't obvious enough, in this week's chapter of Bleach, they made it painfully clear that we are nowhere close to the final battle of the series, as the minute that Ichigo activated his Bankai, it was immediately destroyed by the Quincy leader, who proceeded to run a train all over his ass in this chapter. In fact, aside from seeing the Tensa Zangetsu, I think my favorite part of this chapter was when the Quincy King got right up in Ichigo's face, ripped the horn from his head, and then threw it directly at him. And you know what? That's pretty much the chapter right there. Ichigo's Bankai is broken, his horn is crushed, and the Quincy King has dominion over the future. That's right, he makes it painfully clear that he can not just see the future, oh no, he can transform it. Which basically means he's super haxed, he's super powerful, and he's basically in the same league as Aizen. Speaking of which, I'm still waiting for that bastard to show up and say that everything has been going according to plan. That being said, despite the fact that this was a simple chapter of Bleach, I have to say, the Tensa Zangetsu looks pretty damn awesome. It's kind of like the ultimate combination of all of Ichigo's swords. In fact, it kind of looks like the original Bankai, which is covered by this massive white blade, which also has this chain which is attached to the very top of it and going all the way around to the handle. It's the ultimate combination of his abilities, and they look really awesome. It just sucks that within like 1 page, it was immediately broken. I will say this, they did a great job of like making me do like a double take, because when you see him unleash it for the first time, there's this huge panel spread of him holding the sword, you get to see it in all of its glory, and the very next page is practically the same exact image, except that the top half of the sword is completely ripped off. The next panel is the Quincy leader holding it in his hands, and that's when you realize, oh shit, Ichigo has no idea what he's doing, he has no control over his abilities, and because he doesn't know the true secret of what the Quincy King's abilities are, he is not going to be able to take him down. And this makes perfect sense. There are a lot of other story points that we still need to get back to. Wondering what's going on with Urahara, Kenpachi, and their group? I would love to figure that out. What's the deal with all of the Fullbringers? When are Rukia and Renji going to arrive? There are a lot of other plot points to pick up, and that's why we cannot start this final battle quite yet, and why we're going to have to try and incapacitate Ichigo for a little while. And that's the whole point of this chapter, is just to show how overwhelmingly powerful the Quincy leader is. They've done a pretty good job of that throughout most of this arc, but this one right here truly solidified that fact, because this was supposed to be like the ultimate Ichigo trump card, and it was just destroyed in an instant. And that's saying a lot, because in the previous chapters, the Quincy leader was allowing himself to be attacked. He was getting hit by all of these big flashy moves. The minute Ichigo brings out his big guns, they don't mean shit. Maybe Ichigo doesn't have full control over this stuff yet. Maybe the Quincy leader is just that freaking awesome. All I know is this chapter is going to disappoint a few people, especially because we've been waiting so long to see this thing in action, and frankly, we don't get to see jack shit from it. We mostly just get to see a design. Even when it's broken, he has to swing it a few times just to deflect a few attacks from him, trying to attack the Quincy leader, but it's all for Nye. The Quincy leader just brings all sorts of pain in this week's chapter of Bleach. So, what's the rundown on this week's chapter of Bleach right here? I'm really not all that surprised, to be perfectly honest with you guys. I am a little shocked that they just decided to completely destroy his Bankai, like, within a page. I think that was a really bold move to do, but it makes sense within the context of the story. There are just way too many other things that they have to go back to, and they have to find a way to get rid of Ichigo for a while, and this is going to be the perfect opportunity to do that. The thing is, it's going to be kind of annoying, though, because that means Ichigo is going to be sort of left for dead. Sort of like sloppy storytelling in that sense, because the Quincy leader could clearly kill this guy whenever he wants. He's just dicking around at this point and just really loving himself and his powers. His ego is through the roof, but this ego is so strong that he could just destroy Ichigo in any, like, instant that he wants to, and he's not doing it, and something about that is strange. Either he has some other plans for Ichigo, or again, he's just another one of those classic Shonen Jump villains who loves to dick around with the main character. I'm probably going to have to go with option B on this one. That being said, like I said, I love the design of Ichigo's Bankai. It's very similar to the ones that we saw before. A lot of his Zanpakuto, when they go through their transformative states, they always seem to have chains attached to them. That's always like a theme for him, and I like that it's actually attached to the top of the blade. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe he'll be able to actually utilize that in battle in some way. Maybe it's literally just a sling that he can use to put it around his shoulder. And we didn't even get to see any of the abilities of this thing. I mean, it's called the Tensa Zangetsu, so it's probably going to have a lot of the default abilities that we've seen from his previous Zanpakuto, but I'd like to see something new, especially considering it looks like the perfect combination of his Quincy as well as his Shinigami powers. How that's actually going to form, we're just going to have to wait and see. So, I sympathize with some of the readers this week. I understand why you're not going to enjoy this one and why you're going to be disappointed. While at the same time, other people need to understand there are just other parts of the story we have to get back to. There are way too many loose ends in the series before we get to this big epic final battle, which is probably going to be a lot flashier. I mean, really, at its core, this is supposed to be the final arc of Bleach, and you have to imagine the final battle is probably going to be a lot bigger than this, more expansive, maybe even involving more characters. That's just the way these type of series work. They're not just going to have this weird little random sword battle in like this weird little decrepit castle. No, this is going to blow up into something much larger, which is probably going to end up involving all of the various dimensions of the Bleach universe, the real world, Hueco Mundo, where all of the Quincy's live, all of the people in Soul Society. This is going to be like a massive world-ending battle, which is going to come down between Ichigo and, of course, the Quincy leader. And after seeing Ichigo go through this transformation, where only like half of his face is covered in black and he has the one horn, I have a feeling that he probably didn't even activate his full power quite yet. I have a feeling when he finally does go like full powered up, he might actually start to look more like his classic form with horns on both sides of his head. Maybe he'll actually bring back his Vizard mask, maybe bring back the ultimate combination of abilities. I'd like to see more of the armor that he's used in some of the past arcs and some of the other special abilities. Maybe even incorporate some of those Fullbringer abilities, you know, just to mix things up a little bit, but that's really all just speculation at this point. This week's chapter, Ichigo got his ass handed to him. But the good news is, this week's chapter did look good, as always. If there's one thing that the author of the series is really great at doing, it's making some really great, big, awesome spreads and making the characters look totally kick-ass. I still love the look of the Quincy King when he has his cloak that starts to go up into the sky, covered in eyeballs with his big glowy sword. He's a really ominous-looking villain, and Ichigo still looks really awesome with his Bankai, despite the fact that it got basically bended over his ass in this week's chapter of Bleach. So, this one right here was pretty exciting, but it will be disappointing for some viewers who are really waiting to see his brand new Bankai in action. That being said, I'm just going to continue to take my time, relax, and enjoy Bleach as it comes, because that's really the best way to enjoy the series. If you try to build it up any bit, it's just going to completely disappoint you. So, I'm going to give this chapter right here a 4 out of 5. I still thought it was a really solid, entertaining read, even if it only did take 5 seconds to read and barely anything happened. But if anything, it was a cool preview to seeing what Ichigo's Bankai is going to look like, but we just haven't seen it in action quite yet. But let's try and get excited for all the big battles that are going to be coming up. You know we're going to be going to those in the next couple of chapters as Ichigo goes through some extreme recovery as he prepares for the final battle with the Quincy leader. So 4 out of 5 from me. Check it out, Bleach fans. But if any of you did read this week's chapter of Bleach, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. What did you think of the design of the Tensa Zangetsu? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Please tell me why. And how do you think he's going to recover from this battle? And what do you want to see from the rest of the final arc of Bleach? Please tell me in the comments section below. You guys are kick-ass! Thank you for watching this review. I really appreciate it. If you would like to help support Super Kami Guru 9000, you can do that in a number of awesome ways. Obviously, you can subscribe to the channel. That way you'll see all of our latest anime and manga reviews. Make sure to share this review with all of your friends. You can also smash that like button right now, and make sure to check out all the cool links we got in the description box below. It'd be really, really awesome. So thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!